right, good afternoon, everybody. So I'm Tyler Bailey. I have the pleasure of representing the Barnwells. To my right, we have Marissa Barnwell, who's a student at River Bluff High School. We have her mother, Mrs. Barnwell, and her father, Chevelle Barnwell, here as well. As y'all should know by now, Marissa elected to file this lawsuit against Lexington School District One and other responsible parties as a result when she was assaulted for exercising her own right to not acknowledge the Pledge of Allegiance in her own way that was not disruptive. The thing that's beautiful about America is we have freedom. Freedom of religion, freedom of expression, freedom of speech. And students in our schools should feel safe. They should not feel threatened for exercising their constitutional rights. We sent out a press release on this case some time ago, but today Marissa wants to speak to y'all, speak to the media, so people understand the importance of this case to her. This should not have happened to her, nor should it happen to any kid in our school, in any school district in South Carolina, or schools across the country. So I'll kick it off to Marissa so she can eloquently explain our positions.
So what happened to me on November 29th, which was my birthday, shouldn't ever happen to any other student in America and South Carolina, period. I was completely and utterly disrespected. My constitutional rights to protest or to not say the Pledge of Allegiance was disrespected. That is my First Amendment right, and this teacher completely just disrespected me. On this day, I had never seen this lady a day in my life, so when she approached me so angry and so upset, I had not known what to react to her. So she approached me, she grabbed me, she pushed me up against the wall, and I was just not prepared for that. And no student should ever have to go through such traumatic things, and then for you to go to your principal and tell them, oh, this happened to me, I just got assaulted, and this teacher is still out there. And he's just like, well, shouldn't you be proud of your country? I tell Jacob Smith, he's like, well, I'll look at the cameras and I'll send you back to class. The teacher still works there, and every day, some days, even this week, I've seen the same teacher, and she's still in the hallways, and it's just so emotionally damaging and mentally damaging to still have to go to school and still have to carry on and learn and still try and succeed academically, knowing that the people at my school does not make me feel like I belong, or it doesn't make me feel like I am safe. I just cannot imagine how anyone else who's gone through this type of experience would react, because for me, I would never expect that this would happen to me. I've gotten many outrage reactions about my actions, about not stopping for the Pledge of Allegiance and not saying the Pledge of Allegiance, but I just want to make sure that everyone knows that I know my constitutional rights. I know that no one can take those rights away from me, and me walking during the Pledge of Allegiance and me not mentioning the moment of silence, I haven't said any of those things since the 3rd grade, once I realized that in those pledges you say liberty and justice for all, but is America really liberty and justice for all? And that after that, I just realized I'm just not going to say this Pledge of Allegiance anymore. And the fact that this teacher attacked me and basically disrespected me completely just because of that, no one should ever go through that, and no one should ever have to still walk to school or be in school every day and have to face this teacher and have to face the same administration who let this happen. After I said what happened to me, no one has apologized, no one has acknowledged my hurt, no one has done anything. The teacher is still here at the school. Nicole Livingston, she is a special needs instructor, so the fact that she had the will to just do this to me, I cannot imagine what she's doing to the special needs students who can't even speak up for themselves. And the fact that the school is defending that kind of behavior is unimaginable. And for people who defend the teacher's actions, do you support child abuse? Because that's exactly what happened.
And also, like I said, we have Linnell Barnwell and Chevelle, with mother and father Marissa. I believe she outlined exactly what we're saying here. This should have never happened. The teacher should have never put her hands on Marissa for exercising her constitutional rights. If students want to acknowledge the Pledge of Allegiance or refrain from acknowledging the Pledge of Allegiance, that's well within their rights. but the parents would like to speak as well.
Yes, when I heard the news that the teacher assaulted my daughter, I felt very hurt. I couldn't believe this could happen at a public school system. I felt that something should have been done. We were never contacted, and to this day, I still feel I just feel like so alarmed that her constitutional rights were she can't. I just feel right now, I feel hurt. I feel extremely horrified for my daughter, for any other child that goes to any school, any public school. Right now, something needs to be done. We've tried to reach out to the school district. We've tried to talk to the administrators at the school, and when we tried those things, before the lawsuit, nothing has been done. No call was made to myself, to my wife, and I just can't believe this has happened. Why would the teacher, you could see in the video, why would the teacher single out my daughter when you could clearly see that other students is walking in this video, but that particular day she zoomed in on my daughter, and when she grabbed her, you could see that the grab was a forceful grab, and you could see that she was holding on to her with aggression. She told the teacher to get her hands off of her, but the teacher kept holding on to her. So I feel that now justice needs to be served for my daughter, for my family. This is extremely stressful, and we want everyone to know what has happened, because every parent deserves that right to send their kids to school and their kids to feel safe at school. And my daughter, she doesn't feel safe at this point, and we hope that something is done.
Hi everyone, I'm Marissa's mother, and at this point we are very upset, and we want justice, accountability to be upheld. It seems at this point Lexington County, including Lexington City Police Department, I spoke with Chief Green. He also watched the video with me and acknowledged the video where my daughter was being attacked. However, they still refuse to arrest this teacher. Also, I've spoken with the town administrator as well, and they all refuse to make an arrest to this teacher. I also feel that the school district has failed my daughter at this point. They have failed to protect my child. We've went to the school board meeting and expressed our concerns. They still have not done a thing. This teacher is still out here at River Bluff High School working as if nothing ever happened. Also, we've contacted the school on numerous occasions, as well as Chief Green, and no one seems to take it seriously. I'm not sure why my daughter's experience was not of importance, that they felt the law should be applied at this time. But we do seek justice and accountability. It's no reason for this teacher, Nicole Livingston, to violate my daughter and disrespect her in the manner that she did. It will not be tolerated, and we will gain justice for this action that she did.
So what exactly would you guys like to see done?
We want the right thing done. Number one, when they reached out to the school, because Marissa informed her parents were never informed by the school district. What we want is justice and accountability. There's been no repercussions at all. If this was a student who did this, right? Let's change the facts. If you have a student who put their hands on another student, you probably may have law enforcement called, parents would have been called. It's the same treatment need to be done. If this was a student who was attacked for acknowledging the Pledge of Allegiance, I'm pretty sure some swift actions would have been done. So we just want justice, accountability, the right thing.
So are you guys looking for the teacher to be fired, an apology, some money, any combination of the following?
The school district has certain policies and procedures. I expect all those policy procedures to be executed, and we want justice, accountability. cannot comment any further regarding specific actions that we want. What we can tell you is what did not happen. Now, regarding the lawsuit, this will play out. We want the school district and everybody else who's named as a part in the lawsuit to do everything in their power to make this right.
And how do you guys felt as parents having, people in authority seeing this video and saying, hey, we don't want to press charges, or we see nothing to press charges?
We feel like we've been let down by the school, as well as the police department and the town administrator of Lexington. It seems that no one cares to even make an arrest. It's as if nothing happened. And it's no reason why our daughter should go to school and be attacked by a teacher. When she's going to a public school, she should feel safe at all times. It's no reason why she should have to go to school and still face this lady. Even if they did not fire her, it seems they would have relocated her to a different school, but they did nothing. They have done nothing. They saw the video, they saw this lady attack my child, and still there has not been anything that we are aware of that has been done to this teacher at this point. The only thing we're asking is that citizens in America, if you're a tax-paying citizen, you should be calling Lexington School District One as well as Lexington City Police Department to ask them why the law was not upheld and why Lexington City Police Department didn't make an arrest, and why this school district did not back our daughter up to advocate for her against this child abuse that occurred. Instead, they have tried to protect this teacher. They've tried to not make her name known, Nicole Livingston, which is all to cover up what has happened to my daughter when there's a video clearly showing this attack occurring.
What did she say to you in the hallway? Can you talk about that?
So when she first approached me, all she had to say was stop. And me not knowing who this teacher was, I had never seen this lady in my life. I had not recognized her face. Her just saying stop, I just ignored it. I didn't think that she was talking to me. Also, because of the fact that other kids were walking in the hallway also. So she said stop again, and I just look at her, and I just keep walking, and then she says stop, and then she grabs me by my shoulders and starts to push me up against the wall, and she's like, she snatches my ID, and she's like, she's going to report me to the office. And I'm just confused. I'm like, get your hands off of me, get your hands off of me. Like, you can hear me say that in the video, and it's just, I was just in disbelief. Like, I had never expected something like that to happen to me while being at school, especially since that was my birthday.
Now, do other kids talk about this teacher? Is she known in the school?
No, most people do not know this teacher because she is a special needs instructor. She's a special ed teacher, so most people do not know this woman's face either. So when stories have gotten out about this incident, not many people could recognize or know who this teacher was.
Why do you think she singled you out?
So, to me, since I was the only black student in the hallway, African American female in the hallway, and other kids of the different ethnicities were walking, I was the only person singled out. So, the fact that I was exercising my right to freedom of protest, freedom of speech, I feel like because of the Pledge of Allegiance, because of the stigma behind not stopping or standing during the moment of silence, I feel like she targeted me because I was black and that she knew that this was something political.
Because of this incident, you guys considered, possibly changing schools, and after the lack of response from the school district and the police?
Well, one thing is, they should not feel like they have to change schools. They live in the area where the school is. They pay their taxes. Our state constitution is clear on this issue. Her constitutional rights are also clear. So even the fact that they consider possibly removing her from school, whether there's going to be any retaliation against her for standing up for her rights, is something that they should have never had to experience.
Do any of your friends at school know anything about this, and have they been like, that's awesome, or how have they responded?
So when I tell my friends that this happened, they're like completely in shock, but they're also not surprised because many of my friends are black and African American females. So they also have experienced some type of aggression or some type of discrimination from teachers at this school. River Bluff is predominantly white, and most of my friends are black. So we have very similar experience at this school, but not as severe as being assaulted by a teacher.
And that's unfortunate for this to be a public school, River Bluff High School in Lexington, South Carolina, where taxpayers are paying their money for their child to go there. There is no reason why kids of African American or black kids should feel that they are not treated the same and equal. It's 2023 and it's time for change. It's time for Lexington, South Carolina to stop being racist and stop discriminating and feeling that they're above the law. Alan Wilson indicated last week with the Alan Murdaugh trial that no one is above the law. I think Mr. Wilson needs to take a look at Lexington, South Carolina and look at this case and see why they're being treated above the law and why there hasn't been an arrest yet.
I think that's good on questions. Anybody else have any? Okay.
Actually, I do have one more. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So Dad, you indicated that the school didn't call y'all the day that this happened. I'm sure you went home and told your parents what happened. And so, how did y'all respond after that?
Well, on the morning where it happened, my daughter called me. It was around probably 8:30, 8:40. She called basically in tears saying that a teacher just attacked her. And I could not believe, are you sure this is what happened? What is going on? She was like, yes, this teacher just attacked me. So I immediately went up to the school to find out what happened. When I got there, they acted as if nothing had happened. I asked to speak to the principal along with my daughter. They took us in a conference room and began to ask us, I'm asking what's going on. Can someone explain why a teacher is putting hands on my daughter? And then this assistant principal, Denny, he began to question my daughter and antagonize her as if she did something to cause this reaction. When clearly she's non-confrontational. She has not been in any trouble throughout her school time. She's been making all A's since kindergarten. The week after this incident happened, she went to Chicago as a school representative for EL education, paid for by the school. So she's definitely not a troubled student. They sent her as a representative. She's also involved in sports, athletics. She's enjoyed going to school, but after this happened, now she doesn't have that same joy that she had before for attending school now. And that's unfortunate to say that this is a public school where she's been discriminated and attacked.
Yes, and I also want to contribute to that because after I had been attacked and after I had told Principal Jacob Smith that this had happened to me, he sat me in his office. He was like, well, I'll check the cameras, but you can get a Rice Krispie treat out of my drawer and I'll send you back to class. After that, I was just in so much shock and disbelief, and I just wanted to cry because first it was my birthday, but for you to tell the head man in charge at the school what just happened to you, and he to just send you off and not acknowledge your feelings, I was just saddened. So I called my mother, crying, why, what happened? And she's like, okay, right. So we come to the school, and when I tell them what happened, he's the assistant principal. I tell him what happened. He's like, are you sure you didn't curse at her to provoke her to do this, or are you sure you didn't say anything or hit her first? And it's like, why should a victim be invalidated when they just tell you that they've been assaulted? Why, as a victim, were my feelings and my everything that I just said invalidated? Everything like that shouldn't happen to anyone, no type of victim ever.
One thing I think is important for everybody to know is the family. Marissa first goes to the principal office. Nobody does anything. She tells her parents. Her parents contact the school. Nothing's done. They go to the district level. Nothing's done at all. She goes to the town administrator. She goes to the police. So she took every step before they came under my office for this federal civil rights lawsuit. So they did everything that was in their power, just trying to make phone calls, going to the school board. Nobody did anything. So this is why this federal civil rights lawsuit's been filed.
Are you saying, if I may ask, nothing? I mean nothing, absolutely nothing. No school, the teacher,
nobody anywhere was reprimanded for anything. The teacher wasn't given a couple days off, wasn't given any kind of disciplinary whatsoever.
We have not received anything confirming that. There's never been an apology, as Marissa just stated, to her, saying that what happened to us was wrong for exercising her constitutional rights. So I haven't seen anything. You've just heard that she's still employed there. She wasn't transferred to another school. Nobody has sent anything in writing to the Barnwell saying, we apologize about what happened. You know, your daughter has constitutional rights that can be exercised, and they should not be violated. So in our position, nothing has happened. And there's still, at this point, where we're at now, there needs to be some real accountability, and the school district and everybody else who played a role in this needs to do everything in their power to make this right.
What's in the immediate future? I know there's not a hearing date yet, but what is in the immediate future next steps?
There's going to be a conference amongst the lawyers in this case. The federal courts will have a scheduling order saying what needs to be done. There will be discovery, and there'll be opportunity for the school district to make this right as well, and everybody else is involved.
This is obviously a really bad look on the district. Why do you think that they haven't done anything?
I can't speak to why. I think that the optics of this are pretty straightforward. I think they had an opportunity to do something. Maybe they thought nothing would happen. Hopefully they didn't think the Barnwells weren't worth standing up for. But to me, as a parent as well, who grew up in this community, I see no reason why we should have even got to this point. Something should have happened. But thank you.
Thank you.